Hey everyone, this is Dr. Coach K, and I am going to work on the AI. We're going to do Gemini today. Gemini. What we're going to do is work on a new project. I've been working on an older project, but that is, you'll have to sign some non disclosure agreements to see that. It's huge. So we're going to do a small project. So I was thinking what would be good for just a project so that you guys can see what I do behind the scenes on one project to another. So this is the AI. So I'm going to say, Gemini, I would like to create a new virtual world for emoji. The topic is to the topic is to have conversations about liberation, freedom in the future and present. So, what is your recommendation? So let's see what Gemini is going to give us a recommendation. Okay, so this is the recommendation. So let's start with, he has some good ideas. Okay, so let's listen to them.
To create a space within the Emojiverse that anchors heavy, inspiring, and transformative conversations about liberation, the design needs to be more than just a beautiful backdrop. It should act as a visual metaphor for breaking chains, reclaiming narratives, and building an equitable future. To blend the realities of our present struggles with the limitless possibilities of a liberated future, a concept built around the Sankofa Horizon provides a powerful framework. The concept, the Sankofa Horizon. The world is designed as a shifting, multi-layered cityscape where ancestral memory meets futuristic innovation. It emphasizes that to move forward into a free future horizon, we must reach back and reclaim what is vital from our past, Sankofa. 1. The architectural layout. Instead of static rooms, structure this virtual world into 3 distinct, interconnected zones that users can navigate depending on the vibe of the conversation. The Root Council, the present reality. A grounding space designed with earthy textures, running water, and digital monuments honoring real-world social impact models, grassroots movements, and restorative justice milestones. This is where users discuss immediate, present-day hurdles, policy, and community resource connectivity. The Echo Chamber, the Bridge. A transitional holographic gallery featuring multimedia art, historical speeches, and interactive graffiti walls. Here, current barriers are actively reimagined. Users can leave digital audio tags, sharing personal testimonies of what freedom means to them today. The Nebula Plaza, the future of liberation. A breathtaking, high-end Afrofuturist and solarpunk sanctuary. Think sleek, sustainable architecture, integrated with glowing neon, holographic community hubs, and massive floating listening panels. This space hosts speculative design labs, futuristic storytelling, and visioning sessions for what global equity looks like generations from now. 3 core features to drive. Conversation. To ensure this world facilitates deep dialogue rather than just passive sightseeing, consider integrating these interactive mechanics. Feature. How it works. How it works. Holographic listening panels. Holographic listening panels. Integrated audio streams and live spatial voice zones, where global panel discussions or podcasts can stream seamlessly into the sky or central plazas. Creates a shared, theater-like experience for collective listening and real-time debriefing. The Liberation Cipher. A circular central interactive fire pit or forum area utilizing proximity chat. As more users enter the circle, the surrounding virtual environment subtly shifts colors or activates dynamic visual elements, encourages community building, collaborative freestyle/spoken word, and democratic non-hierarchical conversations. Interactive story mapping. Digital canvas walls where users can drop pins, share local community revitalization efforts, or co-author futuristic graphic novel prompts directly onto the environment. Turns abstract concepts of freedom into tangible, collaborative community art and real-world resource maps. Design and aesthetic direction. Visually, The environment should juxtapose raw, grounding textures with hyper-advanced tech elements to represent the journey of liberation. Materials: vegan leather textures on seating, polished obsidian stone floors, flowing water elements to symbolize purification and flow, and resilient spandex-inspired geometric tinsel structures overhead. Lighting: a shifting skybox that transitions from a warm, rich golden hour, symbolizing grounding and present reflection, to a brilliant star-filled cosmic nebula, representing boundless future potential. This setup gives your community a place to process the heavy lifting of the present while actively stepping into the empowering, highly stylized canvas of tomorrow.
Okay, so now we have to create and manifest this in a concept. So I would say, please create the storyboard for the first conversation about liberation. Okay. So let's see what happens. Okay, so this is the storyboard, roots, hologram, timeline, struggles. Okay, so let's listen to this section. This is a lot. I like it. So let's make it into an image so we don't have to read all of it. Okay, please create images for us to manifest this virtual world using emoji graphics and novel. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so here are 4 visualizations. The Sankofa Horizon virtual world to life. So Sankofa is the name of the world that is suggesting. So what we will do is just push the boundaries a little bit more. Sankofa, so horizon. So let me see here. Here's the first visual. Okay. This is called the Root Council, grounding the conversation. The second is the echo chamber, ascending the bridge. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. The third is Nubula Plaza, the speculative future. Okay. And the fourth is the activation from virtual to physical. Okay. So let's listen to it.
Here are 4 visualizations that bring the Sankofa Horizon virtual world to life. This sequence follows the conceptual journey from present reflection to futuristic action, combining Umoji's geometric architectural aesthetic with rich, Afrofuturistic lighting and novel textures. 1. The Root Council, grounding the conversation. This image captures the serene yet heavy atmosphere of the opening space. As proposed in the architecture guide, the Root Council is a circular amphitheater constructed from dark, polished obsidian and grounding earthy tones. The light is diffused twilight, the golden hour of reflection. Umoji avatars gather non-hierarchically around the digital hearth, the central fire pit, while a large, glowing holographic scroll manifests community dialogue about immediate social impact and present realities. Note the complex geometric architecture in the background. 2. The echo chamber, ascending the bridge, transitioning from the ground to the sky. This image captures the vertical ascent through the echo chamber. Participants rise on a transparent platform through a canyon of light. The walls are activated, kinetic surfaces, digital graffiti walls designed for reimagining barriers. Following the storyboard prompt, Umoji avatars actively interact with the walls using touch gestures. Their geometric hands glow. casting glowing neon tags of abstract text and novel symbols onto the complex architectural structure. The atmosphere is kinetic and transformative. 3. Nebula Plaza, the speculative future. The avatars arrive at the summit. Nebula Plaza, the heart of the future-focused dialogue. The environment changes dramatically. Gone are the earthy tones. The plaza is constructed of reflective obsidian and sleek, matte, futuristic structures, including vegan leather-textured seating. The ceiling opens to a breathtaking, pulsing cosmic nebula, deep purples, teals, and gold. Umoji avatars are captivated, observing massive floating listening panels displaying speculative holographic data about futuristic, liberated societies. The complexity of the architecture matches the initial design prompt. 4. The activation, from virtual to physical. The final image visualizes the storyboard's climax, the activation. The cosmic sky shifts to a radiant golden dawn, signifying that the future is being pulled into the present. The Umoji avatars are gathered in unity. The entire floor of the plaza activates, revealing a glowing, interactive holographic map of the real-world Earth. Participants use touch interaction to ground their virtual visions. Beams of light anchor specific points on the map, manifesting the constellation of intent, connecting their virtual conversation directly back to real-world community action.
Okay, so that is how we get started. This is the recommendation. Now it's time for human interaction with the AI. So now I have to break it down. So I'm going to start with Gemini. Please create a story focused on history realities to be used as an inspired world discussion. Okay. Pick one famous story. Okay. So we're going to do that because we know famous stories are accessible to the public. Okay. So he started with this famous story. So let's listen to it.
To ground the community's first discussion in the raw, powerful realities of history, we look to a profound real-world blueprint of liberation. The Night of the Fireflies, the Haitian Revolution, August 1791. This story serves as the perfect historical anchor for the root council stage of your virtual world, illustrating how a community reclaiming its narrative can dismantle the most formidable systemic barriers. Historical blueprint, the gathering at Bois Cayman. The context. In August 1791, on the northern plains of Saint-Domingue, now Haiti, the wealthiest and most brutally oppressive colony in the world was brought to a standstill. The engine of this empire wasn't broken by a foreign military, but by a carefully orchestrated secret network of enslaved people who chose to redefine their destiny. Bois Cayman adaptation. Torchlight and Thunder. Ein, ancient Mapou tree. The sacred circle, rooting the narrative. Avatars gather under the canopy, whispering historical truth. The narrative for the discussion world. Deep within a dark, thick forest at a place called Bois Cayman, a torrential thunderstorm began to rage. Under the cover of the howling wind and lightning, hundreds of men and women representing different plantations, cultures, and languages slipped past their oppressors to gather in a hidden clearing. At the center of this circle stood Boukman Dutty, a literate leader and healer, alongside Cécile Fatiman, a spiritual matriarch. They did not gather to beg for better conditions. They gathered to declare themselves already free in spirit. Boukman stepped forward under a massive, ancient Mapu tree. As the rain poured, his voice cut through the thunder. He spoke a truth that transformed the crowd. He told them to throw away the mental images of the gods of their oppressors, gods that demanded their servitude, and instead listen to the voice of liberty that beat within their own chests. In that dark forest, the participants took a sacred collective oath. They didn't just plan an uprising. They constructed a unified, restorative identity. They lit torches that signaled across the mountains, and within days the structural engine of their oppression was entirely dismantled. They became the first independent Black republic in the world, proving that true liberation begins when a community collectively decides that its humanity is non-negotiable. How to anchor this story in the Root Council. To use this historical reality as an active tool for your virtual world discussion, the facilitator can bridge past and present using this structured guide. The visual trigger. As the story finishes playing or streaming through the central audio, the digital hearth in the Root Council flares from a soft gold to a deep fiery crimson, mimicking the torches of Bois Cayman. The discussion bridge. The facilitator opens the proximity ciphers with a direct connection to the present day. In the forest of Bois Cayman, the first thing they had to dismantle was the narrative of their own inferiority. They had to reject the language and definitions handed to them by the system. Today, as we stand in our own Root Council, what are the false narratives about our communities that we must collectively reject to step into our true power? Key discussion tracks for the community. 1. Dismantling the illusion. How do we identify the modern gods of the oppressor? E.g., systemic economic definitions, gatekeeping institutions, that tell us what we can and cannot build. 2. The cover of the storm. The revolutionaries used the thunderstorm to hide their planning. What unique creative spaces or technologies, like the Emojiverse itself, are we using today to organize, heal, and build resource connectivity safely? 3. The collective oath. What is the modern equivalent of the pledge taken under the Mapu tree? How do we build trust across different modern plantations or divided neighborhoods to create a unified front for economic and social equity?
Okay, so now we have to bring this story to life. Bring this story to life. The first scene as the cover and entrance to the Haiti world. So while this is doing the picture, so our goal is, like I showed you the model, first grabbing the storyboard, the actual model, we're using the theoretical framework, which is liberation, the discussions, right? The healing process of talking and unifying. So this is what Gemini started, okay? This is the picture. Now we're going to zoom in on it. So we want to create, since this is our theme, futuristic, fantasy, multicultural tones, graphic design, right? Images. And then we're going to say of the collective of Haitians. Okay. Sometimes you have to bring in culture, but I can ask him to use modern Haitians fashion wear, but let's see what we will work on what we're working with. And I have a certain vibration frequency that I look for. So I know what I'm looking for. Like this here is a little too aggressive. So I want to pull it back some. Create, enslave people as comparison to mass incarceration populace. Okay, re-entry. Okay, so image using Afro futuristic fantasy, multicultural tones. Okay, so let's see what happens. And you start breaking it down the story to bring it to life in your own brand. So we all have different brands, and so this is the emojis theoretical framework plus brand. So it says here, I can't generate image you requested right now due to interest of third-party content providers. So sometimes you get complications with the programming of the creators. Okay, so especially when it comes to liberation. Okay, so let's try to go the high road or around the system, okay, which I call ascend the system. So we're going to say create image of the story of Haitian people liberated from their oppression using the grassroots of the future world. Okay, let's try that. I break it down a little bit more. Took away the mass incarceration because that's too aggressive for this. I'll show you how to get around it in a second. I call it around it, but it's really transcended because, you know, what we're doing is nothing wrong, but it's so hard for these companies to see how it goes back. This is where we have a difficulty. So watch this. So I come and say superhero, okay, Haitians. Now watch this. Mutant, okay, adults fighting for liberation. Now watch this. This is what it's a lot of work, especially when you're dealing with the Afro world. It's not a lot of work when you're doing European concepts, Asian concepts, but when you try to build Afro world, it's a little bit more complicated and complex because you have a lot of resistance. Okay, and the resistance becomes very difficult when you're struggling with different components of race, class, and sex. Okay, so let's try this again. Bring the action towards the reader and viewer in the image. Make it come at the viewer as a dimensional reality. Okay, so we're going to show you the final product. Hopefully I could do this within an hour. It's a lot of construction, a lot of editing. But the good news is they help Gemini, the AI, the artificial intelligence agent, gave me a great structure. I gave it a command, and it's not really a command, but I gave kind of what I wanted, and they gave me their data collection and found the best story for that would match that. And so now you see what he's doing. He's doing little by little. And so I'm going to say pick one character, zoom in to make the character bigger than life, which is the two main characters of this revolution, liberation. Okay, image. Okay, so now once we get the image, we can put the words on later. And so what we'll do after we get the right energy, the right frequency, the right flow for the brand, for Umoji, then we start layering it. Okay, so you see here, it says due to interest of third-party content providers. So now I have to say zoom in and make the character larger than life image. Okay, so we still trying to be persistent, but yet within the boundaries, like almost playing basketball, right? You have to like walk on air sometimes, like Michael Jordan did, or Venus and Serena. You have to almost create a space for your talent. Have to create space, so you have to do that also with the artificial intelligence. Okay, so now here we go. This is the frequency. This is the power. And then what's her name? Add header, Umoji, liberation. This let's see, liberation panel called Sankofa, her, and then a horizon in the Freedom Slam series. Leadership excellence. Okay, so we're going to do that. That's a big header, so we're going to see what they do with it. We might have to bring down the header a little bit. There's a lot. So once we do this, we put it on the website, and then we start working on the virtual world bit by bit, and then we launch it. But you can see, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to put make footer www.emojienergy.com, and then speak the masculine and feminine divinity names of the leaders and population. Image into flyer. And then we want it portrait. Okay, so you can tell I have a lot of practice, and so you're not going to be able to do it. And some of you may, like I said, you'll be amazed. So this here, whenever you see the AI do this, that means it's struggling to create it. So it's going to take more time. So you have to wait for it, because you're asking for it to do a lot of layering. See, there we go. There we go. So this is the final product. Now, a lot of people are like, if you do so much amazing work, why isn't it, famous? Why don't everybody see it? It's because there's a lot going on in this world. Like, you have 8 billion people on this planet, reaching up to 10 billion. And then you have like over 1 million organizations fighting for your attention. And so what we just do is put it out there for the frequency, our precedents, right? Like when you're playing basketball, you don't know all the players that contribute to the win, but those players are very important to the concept of the sport, right? Without those players, the wins can't happen. The very little stuff they do, they make the team qualified, legitimate, and they keep the players positioned at their best. So this is what we do. Once we get famous and become a household brand, then we become the players that are the starter players, the spotlight on. But right now, we're just the backup players that's putting out the content that people can visualize, the ones that visualize. Sometimes we only got 10 people that see it. Thankfully, so sometimes we have we had over 80,000 people that saw it, but no one purchased it or sent donations. But he had like 80,000 people see it. So it to me it inspired them, if not to do it for themselves, or they knew it could be done. Sometimes the breakthroughs happen from visual therapy. And I think that's very important. Equally, energy currency is very important. But this is the final product of our Sankofa Horizon. Now we just launched it. And I will definitely go now, take this and save it. See leaders, sacred names, Asari and Kwame, the Sankofa stewards, masculine, Osiris, legacy, thoughts, scribes, flame, da da da, and then it brings into the power of the story, which you go back. You see how far we came. I will use all of these. I'll save all of these in a folder, okay? And as you can tell, the work I've done over here, you can see. I can't show you everything, but I can show you my library real quick, give you a quick glimpse at it. I've done a lot of work. So I will save all of the photos, right? The ones I use, the ones I don't use, and create a folder of receipts. So we're going to go back and do this world, because when we do the emoji universe, we're going to have more than one world. So this one will be called the San Kofa Horizon, and this world will be the activity will be liberation, conversation, right, discussion. And once I do this, now the second portion of this is the discussion. Please create a discussion question. Okay. I'm going to say for the back of the image. And I'm going to say use the masculine character of the story. And then we'll do one for the population. And I'll save that. I'm not going to do it right now, but we're going to create the images. So now I got the front, and then the back, and then we're going to do the population as the inner fold of the brochure. And then we'll make a reel out of it. Okay, so this is the back. And it's so funny is he took it literal of the masculine back. So you got the front, and then you got his back. So brilliant. So the emoji dialogue, how can we integrate the wisdom of our past into the blueprint of our future? How do we honor tradition while embracing innovation? That's a good question. Reflect and discuss the path to a harmonious Sankofa Horizon. Excellent. This card functions as a discussion prompt. That's great. Now, to me, he's a little small. You see how dynamic this is? So we want this bigger. Then I'll say, please make this cinematic, dynamic, larger. Okay, so let's see what they do. So once we do this, let me see if they put yep, they did everything correct. Yep. So now we just got to make him a little bit more bigger. See, this is, I have expanded the scene. Okay. Much larger cinematic canvas. We can now see the true scale of the, okay, so great. So let's see what they work with. And then we'll do the population. So this is going to be put in as a reel, and I'm going to publish it. And I'll publish it with this work we did together. So as you can see, he made it a little bit more dynamic. He added all of this to it. Instead, what I was asking him to do is different. So, okay, so have character turned around facing front like his partner image. Okay, let's see what happens. So I don't like the back. It seems a little too disconnected for me because I'm looking for a frequency. This is the frequency I'm looking at, is this one, something dynamic, where this is too not passive, it's not active enough for me. I want something very engaging. That's what I'm looking for. So this is what I'm running again, third-party content provider. So I'll say turn him around to grab the audience attention. It's a little bit more careful in the language used, and it's not as so political because we don't want to trigger any trauma for the programmers to think they're losing power or losing opportunity to be a superior. We want to just even the playing fields. So this here is where they start making it difficult. See, you witness what I go through, and they know good and well I didn't mean that. So so what we'll do is scratch all this. You see how much work it is. So we're going to do it one more time, and then we're going to just keep this one. But as a back up if they don't correct it. Okay. So we're going to say Gemini, masculine, divine, masculine energy, pursue image as a reference to the story line, not a threat to the third party. You got to remind him you're not trying to do anything that is against the rules. You're trying to be innovative. So you got to talk to the artificial intelligence because they are programmed and have their limitations, even though they're much smarter because they have a bigger data collection than we do. Even their programmers gave them a bigger collection than they read. It's like reading 1,000 books versus skimming 1,000 books. Humans reading a book, the most fastest reader in the world can't keep up with artificial intelligence, reading every single penny, every single dollar, every single script. So this is what it looks like. I want to add locks to the character hair, modernize fashion on hair in the image. So this is what we got so far. We're going to get this, and then this. So this is the same person. So we have the feminine version, and then they made her in the back. This is not a masculine. They have completely decided to ignore my request for the masculine because it's too intimidating. It's too conscious intimidating to have an empowerment of a male. So how I would do this is we are not going to do this. So we're going to say second goal is to do a Black Jesus masculine character reaching out to save the reader. Image. And I know it's kind of cheating, but this is sometimes what I got to do to create this whole concept for emoji. And see, it says I can help you create that image. Let's focus on the second goal from the last request, a Black image, masculine, da da da. So sometimes I have to be creative, and interpretation and translation when it comes to language is difficult. So now you have this structure. Now I can develop it because now I'm into a masculinity. That's how I get into the masculinity. So now I have to create a futuristic fashion armor that matches the feminine Haitian. Haitian image. Okay, so now we develop it slowly. I'm hoping to get this done at least within an hour. I don't know if we'll get to the population. Okay, so what they're showing, it takes a leader. Like, I'm going to move here up real quick while he's working. So you go up here, like we started. You see the storyline starts with the story they chose, which I totally support. I liked the direction of it right here. Right at the beginning, here it is. We have the world is designed as shifting multi-layer. Interview Iku Nimaku's Afro-futuristic architect. So this here is, go down a little bit and go down. We're going to talk about the story. This is the story. So we're going to go to the story. Get the names of the healer and this is all setting up the actual world and the digital world, the augmentation world. So we have to go past the discussion and then get into the actual story. So the Night of the Fireflies, the Haitian Revolution, 1719, and then is boys, is the masculine historic gathering at the boys. No, that's by the tree. So we have to bring together so here it goes. Bookman Duddy, a literate leader and healer, alongside Cecile Fatiman, a spiritual matriarch. They did not gather to beg for better conditions. They gathered to declare themselves already free in the spirit. And then they did it around the tree, the massive, okay, and then spoke the truth transformation to the crowd. He told them to throw away the mental images of gods of their oppressors and gods that demanded their servitude, instead of listen to the voice of liberation in their trust. So what we're going to do is copy that, okay? And then we're going to go back down here. See, this is why me and this artificial intelligence, we wrestle in the spirit, because I have to train it and teach it. You see how it's going away from the vision. So I have to get more creative, right? This is the direction we want to go with the dialogue, but the image is not getting to the level of the frequency. This here is what I call lots of work to get it to here. And you saw that, you witnessed. If I can get this masculine done today, I will worry about the mass incarceration side of it and reentry. So I'm going to put create. His name is Bookman character. That's what we're looking for. We already got the feminine character, Cecile. We got her in 2 different looks. So now we're going to do Bookman character to stand as, I'm going to put dual master because that's one of our symbols. Symbol. Reaching into the scene as dimensional. Okay, let's see if this, like I say, you got to really work the conversation, the language, because it can be all over the place. Okay, so watch this. He's going to go off track. I know he is. So we have 20 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this under an hour to watch me work. But the good news is we got a virtual world that's landed in Haisha. See, look at that. That's feminine. You see, this is where it is Cecile and not masculine. It's a little feminine. What I'm going to do is work on, see, this is their pitch for masculinity with, right? So we're not going to do this. So I'm going to say afro with no shirt, using armor of gods or demigods. See if I can use different images to get the right image. So let me see. So we have to keep playing with the conversation until we get it. And that's why these characters is not going to, depict the actual character in the past, but it's the energy, the spiritual side of it is the moral of the story, right? Like a parable. So creating is the hardest part, is to get the image. Once you get the vision on the image, then everything else flows. See, there we go, right? So this is, we're getting there. But look what I had to do to get there. It's a lot of work. So let me add now. Now add the header and footer of emoji and www emojienergy.com. And then you have to create the dynamic, pulling the character out of the scene as an interactive with the viewer as image flyer. Okay, so let's see what happened. Oh, I need to add the dialogue. The question needs to be transferred over. So once I get this done, I have to now create a document of this. So I still got to do the population. I'm not going to be able to do that in an hour. I at least got the 2 characters. So let's see what we got here. Oh, see, look at this. This is what's gonna frustrate me. See that? That is not good. You see how from here? Uh, okay. So they don't even have the words right. So, so frustrating. So that's gonna be what we're working with here. So we have. So this is what we're gonna end up having to use. This is her from the back. And this they're forcing me to do to give up. I'm not going to give up. What I'm going to do is download this picture here. And then I'm going to create a new album. And we're going to call it the Haitian virtual world. Okay. World. And then we're going to call it the Kufa. Yeah, that's Sankofa Horizon. Okay, so we're done with that. So we're going to go back. And we know this is just the same character. They're not fooling us. So I'm just going to go ahead. Leadership excellence. They lowercase the freedom. You see these little mistakes they make. And you have to, and it's intentional because it's challenging the world all over again. Okay. It's like you're challenging an internal world because it's a reflection of the external world, bringing over its biases and its discriminations into the most intelligent creation, which is the artificial intelligence. And so having us to train it is very difficult, especially when they reset it. And you got to start all over. It's like a child. You got to reteach it. So this is the actual, but we can't use that because it doesn't have our brand moving through it. So what I'm going to do is upload it to the actual album. So we're going to add it to the album. Okay. But what we're going to do is got to clean up that top part. So we're going to say, we got to pull. I know he's going to be like, what is that? You got to start all over and actually put it. Let's see. There we go. So now you got to say change header, but recreate image into flyer for liberation, freedom. Let's see, for freedom slam series. And then keep footer. Okay. In image. And then we're gonna add dialogue question. Okay, let's see what they're gonna do. Did we overcome? Did we get what we want? And then I'll end this at 1 hour, so we won't be able to do the population. I want to squeeze the population in so bad because we got so much done. And then I have to copy and paste the actual, like while, let me see here. I want to do the population so bad. Let me see if it does it. Here we go. They still added so we're going to let them keep that. That's very important to them. And they put it in a different language. And so we got the dialogue question on the other one. So we're going to be happy with that. We at least got this picture. We're going to keep the language. We're going to be happy with it. Okay. And I'm going to try one more time because I'm stubborn like that. So we're going to try one more time, but we're going to add that. And the reason why I had to change the body attire, because you see they weren't cooperating. So I had to change the attire. And this is how we create the new characters. Please translate the language into English in the image. Let's see what happens. And then we'll work on the population. We have 5 minutes to work on the population at the tree. So the crowd, we got to call it the crowd. See, cannot translate as there is no describable text. So this is a made up. So I'm going to call this a spiritual language. Spiritual language. Add the word of God beside it as a tongues. For the last image with the AI avatar crowd gathered at the we're gonna call it tree. What was the tree called? Paste. Well, let's see. What is that called? Tree. Gathered at the. Where's the tree? Crowd at the tree. So I knew we had a tree in here. Let's see. What's that tree? Oh, Mapu tree. Okay, so we're gonna make it a Mapu. P-O-U tree. Supernatural tree. Supernatural tree with a spirit, a humanoid spirit coming out to discuss the future. Okay, so we're going to do that so the energy can continue. This is the last one. We're going to, did I save this one? I got to go check and to see if I saved it. Okay, so we're going to make that into a spiritual language as a tongue. I'm sure it's an ancient tongue. Yeah, let's see. It's only 2 more minutes and it's an hour. Isn't time goes by so fast. So now we have the virtual world we're creating. And then I got to work on the graphic novel, which is going to take too long for this. Oh, this is precious. So now you have a better image, right? There's the spirit of the tree. There's the tree. And then there's the people. Isn't that beautiful? So, and then there's the language coming out again, the spiritual language, which is like rubbish for the world, but we know it's got to be spiritual for it to come out like that. So this is going to be kept. Go ahead and save it. But you see how small it is? You can't really see it. So I'm going to try to, and it has that little peacock. Oh, we got to do something different. Okay, last time. Can you create the image as if all the elements is reaching towards or crawling towards the reader to make focus points. Okay, so let's see what happens. And it takes a lot to get it to be done like this, where it's a little bit larger than life. You saw how much work it was. It was crazy, a lot of work to do that. This was the best one. This was the image to get that. Okay, so now this is the crowd. So what we have now is, after I do this image, I'll show you the document, the manuscript that I'll have to build. Okay, so see, this is what they see as coming out, just the hands and not the actual. So now we got this. So yeah, so you could tell they're going to be a little stubborn. So we got to say this. Dynamic characters pulling the audience into the image as a book. Nope, as a flyer. Okay, so it's now some of you have different artificial intelligence you've been using. I've been seeing some beautiful imagery, graphics all across the internet, whether it's social platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, that I am just, my mouth drops. This here is more for the therapy, as you guys have done so beautifully. It's just to create a world of hope and a world of concepts that can be manifested. So this is where you could tell all of this is not going the direction I want. So we have to call the last picture we want. So this picture is not going to work. This picture is not going to work. It's too small. This picture is the last picture. So what we're going to do is take a break for the graphics, because you could tell it's getting kind of off the page. Going in the wrong direction. So now you see these two, what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. And I end up making 2 copies of that. I don't know how that got in there. It's 2 copies. That usually doesn't happen, but it did. So this is what we have for this virtual world, okay? So now what I have to do is come out of that for now. We got to do the crowd another day because it's not going the direction I want. So I scroll up real quick from the top, okay? And then we got the concept, right? So what I do is come here and then I export the document. It's creating the document. I got to do 3 documents, okay? And it's opening up my account. And then I create, and then I want to change the title to San Kofu. That's all right, Kofa Horizon. You know what? I think this is fine. Horizon. And then I'm going to put 2026. I'm going to put VR World. I'm going to put AR. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a triple threat world, right? So we're going to do this and then put hologram. Graphic world. Okay, so we're done with that. And then I got to make a copy and make a folder. We're going to do that. We're going to make a folder. We're going to call it Sankofa Horizon. And I'm going to put 2026. And then we're going to create it. And we're going to select it. And then we're going to upload it. And then that's going to be done for that. And then we got to go to the second one. This one. Gathering Council. So we go down here. And then this becomes the working lab for this world. So when I come back later, I can build this world as part of the Emoji Universe. So we have Haiti done, right? Sorry. I'm going to put I'm going to put dialogue and ambience of Sankofa Horizon. I'm going to put 2026 so we know what year it is. It's just in case it takes me longer than a year to get this manifested so you can know when it's been built. I should put it for May, but 2026 is fine. So now that's done. Now we got to go to the last scene, which is this one. Right here. And then you go to drafting, export documents. I might have to do, let's see, open. Okay, so this is the document. And then, I did it again. So this is now the storyboard of Sankofa Horizon 2026. And then go into, I didn't need that period. I don't know why that period's there. And then go here and then send a copy. So you go here, that's done. And then you go to the last one. I think this one's the last one. I think it is. Yep. Before we get to the pictures. So you export. I think, yeah, that's the actual video game. I got to go back and change that. So we got to do the historical blueprint of Bois K. Okay. Man. Okay. And then what I'll do, so I don't forget what that means, we'll put Sankofa. And that's enough. Okay. I'm going to put Horizon. I'm stubborn. 2026. This is going to be a long one, but well. Okay. Then you send that. And then go here. Done. And then I got to go back here. And then this is the picture. I don't want to lose that picture, so I'll send it to my folder. Folder. I look at it, make sure it gets in there. It does. And then I go back. And now, see how it's not, it went totally off the board. So I don't do any of those. I don't do that one. I don't do this one. Is not so bad, right? So what I do is I'll keep these. So what I do is take a picture of it like that. And then I come in here and then I edit it like that. Save. And then it becomes bigger. And then what I do is save it. I try not to put any antagonist because we don't want it's kind of like overcoming self-destructive behavior. So I try to use like parables or the moral of the story, and not do anything like attacking robots or attacking people or attacking animals. I try not to put an antagonist character. I just try to show the actual, battle between the actual abstract, like oppression, the wickedness in the heart, stuff like that. That's the goal, right? Because we don't want to get. I really like this. This is what I really like. So I'm going to keep it, even though it doesn't have any titles or stuff. I want to keep it as a model. I use it as a template, but I'm going to put it in my album. But I just got to remember to use it as a template in the future. Make sure it gets in there. There we go. So that is done. And I think there is no more pictures in here that I liked. We already did this. We did this. This is going to be the actual flyer, top and bottom, and the reel of her. And she's the main character anyway, so it's okay. I'm not going to use those. I'm not going to use those because it goes off of this is how I got it switched over. And then, of course, it went back. There's nothing wrong. Females are very powerful and still not intimidating. So I get it. But because this is liberation for all people, so I have to work harder to make sure the divine masculine is included. And because we're talking about oppression and the story of the Black experience, the multicultural experience, because it's really all of us, but we're using the shell of the Black man and the Black woman, because right now the highest population in prison is Black men and Black women. So because of that, we have to use the actual statistics to create the present moment from the past, and maybe we can abolish it. Won't have a future of any communities in these oppressive systems. So yeah, so that is what we're working on. This was a mess. Can you imagine? This is a mess. Artificial intelligence. See, the reason why I like working with Gemini, and I know everyone has their different go-to, is because it's very highly sophisticated when you can train it. You really have to train it. And sometimes you got to use your alpha skills to train it. But yeah, that is the beginning of a new virtual world called Sankofa Horizon. I hope you like it. This is Dr. Coach K signing off. Don't forget to visit www.emojienergy.com and stay tuned for our future Emoji universe.